Alright, sorry for the break right there. We're good to go now. We're gonna finish up this league. So far we're at 1-0. We beat Affinity on round 1 with actually a pretty sweet turn 2 kill that had my opponent pretty impressed. Hopefully they'll try out Amulet, you know? I'm all for having people joining the Amulet community. Slowly people are realizing that it's actually one of the best decks in the format. Yeah, that actually happens often. Usually one thing that you know, as soon as you know you're playing against control, you want to try to make your plays as fast as possible, because a lot of games usually end up the way that you're describing right now. Oh jeez, are we playing against another Glistener Elf? Oh, that's way worse than what I was expecting. Okay. Alright, so this Azusa draw is very interesting. So we can turn one Amulet. Okay, turn one Amulet. This enables turn 2 Azusa, and I think that's what I want to do. So I want to go turn 1 Amulet, and then we're going to play Azusa on turn 2, and after we play Azusa we are going to be able to actually play both Steerings and Tribe Scout, which is kind of sweet. So we're kind of hoping that we're not dead this very turn, because of the fact that we can very easily chomp Glistener Elf a bunch of times. I do not really like playing explosives on one, you know. Groundswell, okay, so I take 5 poison there. Here I'm just going to develop my mana again. This Vesuva kind of acts like a second bounce land, so I'm actually going to do this, and I'm actually going to replay Ghost Quarter as well, because Ghost Quarter means that I have interaction for Inkmoth Nexus. So I'm trying to see here whether I play the Azusa or I play the Tribe Scout. I think I'm going to play the Steering, sorry, instead of the Tribe Scout. I think I'm going to play the Tribe Scout, and this is the guy that's going to do the chomping here. This is going to force spell out of my opponent's hand, or they will just come in with Inkmoth, which is also an option. Well, never mind. Never mind, we're actually in a ton of trouble then. So what's going on here? What do I do? I was not expecting rank out at all. That sucks. So if my opponent has a second Groundswell, they just go up to 7, sorry, and I have 3 to block, so I go down to 1. If my opponent does not have a second Groundswell and just has like a mutagenic growth, I think I'm going to just chomp with the Azusa here. So that's up to 7. So if I double chomp, I can actually stop the Glistener Elf. This is a mess. This is a total mess. I'm not going to play around second Groundswell. It has to be Groundswell too. It cannot be neither. Mutagenic growth doesn't get them there. I guess double mutagenic growth does get them there though. It cannot be Become Immense because they just don't have enough stuff. I guess it can be like mutagenic plus Become Immense. If they had second Groundswell, there's not much I can do. I'm just dead. Why fetching so many basics? Okay, they just have Blossom Defense plus. Okay, this is good then. I go up to 8 poison. Does my opponent play another threat? It doesn't look like he is. I have Ghost Quarter to answer the Ink Moth. So I have Ghost Quarter to answer the Ink Moth. I have Explosives to answer the Elf. So I'm going to start with Steerings here. Another Amulet. Okay. So I'm going to play Vesuva first. I'm going to copy Simic Growth. And I'm going to bounce the Vesuva itself. And I'm going to play Explosives on 1. So this is the straightforward part of my turn. Okay, I'm going to play Explosives on 1. Now the tough part of my turn is, do I go Squatter now to play around another potential Blossoming Defense? Do I go Squatter later? I think I'm going to go Squatter now. If my opponent has a third basic forest, then, you know, good beats. They do not. Sweet. Okay, that's also really good to know. And next turn, I get a little bit wrecked next turn actually, because I'm not gonna have enough mana. I just have to blow this up. There's no way around it. No way around it. And my opponent gets the Rancor back, so that's an awful exchange for me, but it's better than being dead, right? So I'm going to play 1 Amulet. No plays there is really good for me though. Play this, copy this. Now I'm gonna play Azusa and hold the Vesuva in hand. Potentially, what this does is if my opponent draws like another Ink Moth or something like that, Vesuva can copy the Ink Moth, you know, if I'm like desperate. And now we just have to draw one of the 11 possible cards that we have. That's definitely wrong. Is my opponent on mono green? Is my opponent just playing mono green? Why is my opponent not playing Rancor right now? They have to play Rancor right now. Why? When it becomes lucky, it gets plus 2. Yeah, so I'm actually dead here. And there's nothing I can do, right? I think my opponent is on mono green, but if my opponent is on mono green, why didn't they have enough forests? Yeah, I don't think I can win anymore. I know for a fact that my opponent has a Rancor in hand, so they're going to Rancor the Ichor Clomere, and when it becomes lucky, it gets plus 2/+2. So it's gonna be a 5/3. Even if I Vesuva copy the Drydragor, I'm going to die. Yeah, so I needed to draw a Amulet Titan there, and I did not. So this was one of the... I had 11 outs to draw right there. I could have drawn, and 4 redraws, okay? I could have drawn either any of the 4 Amulet Titans, any of the 4 Summoners Pact, or I could have drawn any of the 3 Tolaria Wests, or any of the... any Explore is a redraw, and Ballista is also pretty much game over. So I had all of those outs, I drew none of them, I died. It's pretty much how it goes sometimes. My opponent is playing a very, very weird list. Rurik can be okay, but the Force Chomp makes it really awkward. Like Explores. Maybe I can side out the Pact. Pact is super slow, but sometimes that's all you need. Yeah, I'm going to bring Spell Piercings instead. Explorers can come out. I don't need so much ramp because my Trap Scouts are very unlikely to die. So that's why. And I have now I have a ton of interaction post board. I have 2 Abrades, Member Fires, blah 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 blah. And Yeah, my plan is the same though. I guess I could cut Azusa for a prime time. No, I think Azusa is just better. I want to be rampant. Want to get there fast. Infect is probably the single worst matchup for this deck in Modern though. So today we've played against horrendous matchups. We started with Jeskai, which is actually a good matchup, and we lost that one. And then we played against Storm and KCI, which are awful matchups. Then we played against KCI yet again, and it was just terrible. Here I'm going to get the Grove. I want to buy as much time as I want, and having double upgrade in hand incentivizes very much to try to make sure that I have a red source that doesn't die like Gemstone Mine. Glistener off, yeah, that thing is dead. Our plan is gonna be kill everything that we see. At least the first two threats. Yeah, my opponent is playing blue-green at least. They just didn't fetch any blue mana last turn for whatever reason. And we are gonna lose again because we're not gonna see any dots. Here I'm killing the Blighted Agent because it's much harder for me to interact with than the Inkmoth. Inkmoth is not hard. Wow, my opponent drew so many threats. Also, it takes them off mana every time they activate it, so it actually takes them way more mana to kill me with Inkmoth. I can't believe, wow. "27 lands post board. Yep. Mitoful Crossa, what do you got? Vines? Are they playing around something? They're not playing around anything. They're just slow rolling me for whatever reason. Yeah, okay. I'm dead. Cool. So that's unfortunate. We just never saw any other lands. We didn't see any other interaction, and we just died because my opponent had something that is actually quite unlikely. The fact that they have like a ton of threats. That's not common for Infect at all. Usually they have one or two threats, and then the rest is pump spells. But my opponent had exactly the perfect mix. They had enough threats for me to force me to use all my interaction, and they also have enough pump spells to still kill me into attack steps. So that's just, you know, my deck not functioning properly and my opponent's deck drawing the nuts, which is a thing that can happen, obviously. That's kind of like part of what playing a combo deck is about, right? You sometimes don't draw all the pieces you need, especially with Amulet. There's a lot of pieces that you need with Amulet, and sometimes you don't see them, or sometimes you draw them in the wrong order and it doesn't quite work out, but it's fine. I actually kind of like this hand quite a bit. We have Amulet, we have a little bit of ramp, and we have ways to find more lands, so I'm going to keep this. The question here is going to be whether I want to turn one Amulet or whether I want to turn one Steerings. I think what I want to do is I'm going to turn one Amulet. I'm going to turn one Amulet, and then on turn 2 I'll see what I can do. Maybe that's wrong though, because I can Steerings into a bounce down, and next turn I can bounce down plus explore. I think I want an Amulet because I want to give myself like one extra draw step. Also, if my opponent is playing a discard spell deck, then you know, explore is kind of like closer to Steerings. That, you know, Amulet is pretty replaceable. So I'm playing against Plains deck. So this is Death and Taxes of some kind. This hand is not bad against Death and Taxes of some kind. This matchup is not awful. It's not great. It's definitely not great, but it's not as horrendous in my experience as people sometimes say it is. The fact that we have access to Ballista, Explosives, even Explosives on game 1, I think makes it so it's not as lopsided as people think. Some people just, you know, think, oh, Learning Arbiter, we cannot win. And that's not quite the case. Yes, the Arbiter is really annoying, and it's one of the cards that we don't want to face with this deck. But still, it's pretty beatable. Okay. So here we have options. I think option one is going to be, I'm going to start with Explore anyway. I'm actually quite interested in Ghost Quarter in my opponent's land right there. Yeah, I'm gonna use one land drop to kind of see what's up, see if I can get lucky. Because if I draw a Susa, I can just slam it prime time, I think. Or if I draw an Amulet, I can do the same thing. So we're gonna start here. Amulet, a Susa, no, another extra Primeval Titan. With this, so I can play Ballista on 2. I can play Ballista on 2, kill the Arbiter. That's option 1. I can do Ballista on 1 and Ghost Quarter my opponent. This is actually a play that I'm pretty interested in. The issue with that play though is that if my opponent next turn can much more easily interact with my Ballista. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to play Ghost Quarter and play Simic Growth and bounce the Simic Growth itself. What this will do is now I will play the Ballista on 2, and next turn, before I do anything, I can get to see what I draw. If I draw an Azusa or something like that, I will definitely want to start by Ghost Quarter my opponent and see what he does. And if that's not the case, then I can, you know, make different choices depending on what I want to do. So here we go. Ballista on 1. So now I have the Arbiter taken care of. So yeah, like Stravenous, yeah, that card is irrelevant. So now the Arbiter is taken care of. Note that I don't mind my opponent untapping because I guess, you know, if they have another Arbiter, you know, whatever, it's fine. But if they cannot really have anything that punishes me for like a Flicker Wisp or something to save their Arbiter, they cannot really have that. So I don't mind then actually being able to do stuff this turn. I chose not to play around Arbiter, to play around Ghost Quarter this turn, so that's perfectly fine. Maybe my opponent will use their Ghost Quarter, I will kill the Arbiter in response, and they will flash in another Arbiter. That's fine, I guess. But next turn, my opponent's play is pretty forced, I think. I am going to play the Semi-Growth Chamber, and unless they have an answer to Amulet this turn, I'm going to play the Semi-Growth Chamber, and they are kind of forced to destroy it. I can even afford to do this and just wait. See what my opponent does. I don't think those 2 damage are going to matter a lot. So they have the Wisp. They will do their thing. Try to do this, and I will kill the Arbiter in response. Now, as I just said, my opponent can very easily have another Arbiter in hand, which would of course suck. But at least this way, I am able to, you know, resolve it prime time for sure. Play this, and play this, and I think I'm gonna bounce the Radiant Fountain. If my opponent does not have an Arbiter, yeah, my opponent does not have the Arbiter, so this game is over. Boros Garrison, Slayer Stronghold. My opponent is dead. They're just conceding? Yeah, makes sense. Alright, so my opponent just tapped a little bit too low, and they were rightfully punished. But I don't think they really had any outs or any possible answers there. Against these kind of decks, I bring in all of my interaction again. Hornet Queen is really good. Pacts are at its worst in this kind of matchup. Explore is also really bad in the face of Thalia, so I trim a couple of those. Even though Bujukebog does nothing, because I have another Cavern of Soul is actually just a better card right here. I will side that in, but I do not like going under 28 lands because my opponent is specifically a land destruction deck. I also don't like going under 28 lands against Ponza and decks like that. I want to make sure that I'm hitting my land drops. Is my opponent playing... Damping Sphere or not? I honestly have no idea. Because I kind of want Bailots. They kind of bridge the gap. But I'm not sure I want Nature's Claim. Considering I have a Braids, I don't think I will want the claims. Bailoth, it's not great, but it kind of bridges the gap between, you know, that helps us get to Primeval Titans. And it's just, you know, it kind of forces them to, like, do something. It just blocks effectively all of their ground creatures, which are not that many, granted. Usually they kill you in the air with Flicker Wisps and Restoration Angels, but you know, it might still be worth it. I like Tribe Scout. Tribe Scout is probably the single best card in this kind of matchup. It helps you be able to play around Ghost Quarters and stuff with your bounce lands, and also the only real way that they have of killing her is with a path, which means that one of our prime types is not getting path, which is also good for us. And I'm also keeping in Hornet Queen because it's very good at stabilizing. Anything else? Maybe Asusa can come out. Maybe one Asusa. Again, I want all my interaction because my opponent's deck is very, very interactive. It has a lot of critters that are super annoying. Arbiter, of course, being the number one dude. But Thalia is also really annoying. Yeah, there's a lot of annoying dudes. This hand is too greedy. I don't think I can afford to keep this hand against a Leonin Arbiter deck. They play a lot of Ghost Quarters. This hand is way better. And that card is pretty good to keep on top. I totally didn't notice that I already have one explosives in hand. That was bad. I should have bought the second explosives. I actually want lands here. I wish I had an untapped land there. So I would definitely crack explosives on one for this vial. Let's see what my opponent does if they play a land here. If they don't play a land, I'm just going to play the explosives on one, and I don't think my opponent can punish me in any way. And on the following turn, even if they like Ghost Quarter my Semi-Growth Chamber, I can still, unless they also have Arbiter, of course, I can still go fetch something and pop it on one. So we'll see what my opponent does here. They must be thinking about what land drop they're gonna make. There's a Ghost Quarter. You have an Arbiter? Do you have an Arbiter? No place. Now I really, really, really want to explosives on one. I am going to do that next turn though. I think I'm going to pass this turn. I don't want to show this to my opponent because he will Ghost Quarter me and that would be annoying. So I'm just going to play this. I get destroyed by Arbiter. Yeah, because I get destroyed by Arbiter, I'm going to play Explosives on 1 right here. So I'm going to drop these Explosives on 1. And then we'll see what my opponent does and we'll take it from there. I assume that this way my opponent's not gonna make... It's not gonna flash in their Thraven Spectre at the end of turn. But I definitely want to attack my opponent's mana, the way things are shaping up. I need to stay ahead of him on mana. Blade Splicer, that's fine. Blade Splicer is fine, I think. That's an interesting draw. Load this up first, see what my opponent does. We're gonna flash in a 2-drop for sure. Let's see what that 2-drop is. Phyrexian Revoker. I assume this is gonna be naming Walking Ballista, since I already played the explosives. Yep, it's naming Ballista. Makes a lot of sense. And I think here I'll play this. If my opponent wants, now that they don't have a Vial going, if my opponent wants to go to basically strip mine themselves in order to strip mine me, I think that's an exchange and I'm happy to make. I just need to buy time here. If I can buy enough time, I will win. The way that they win, it's because all of the deck is built to try to prevent you from doing what you need to be doing. Wow, that's awesome for me. If they spend their turn cracking a Horizon Canopy, I'm ecstatic. I'm very, very happy about that. Chomp there. I doubt they don't seem to be in any kind of a Razzie list, so I'm not going to play around them having some stuff like that. So here I actually can Explosives on 2 to blow up my opponent's board, and I think that's what I'm going to do. I could also just play a Chomp Blocker, then play a Susa. Actually, playing a Susa is probably better here. But that enables my opponent's Tectonic Edge, which is worse for me than the Ghost Quarter. So I think I'm just going to Explosives on 2. Note that this is a very interesting trick. Thalia makes Explosives cost 1 more. But what you can do is you can say, okay, I'm going to X Explosives on 1, but you pay for Explosives on 1 by using 2 different colors. And then the way Sunburst works as a mechanic, that actually counts as both of the colors. So that's kind of like a little way to play around Thalia. Thalia does not actually tax your Engineer Explosives. With my hand the way it looks though, I'm not really worried about the Thalia. I'm more worried about the Revoker, because I think that if this Ballista comes down and it's free to like do its thing, I think I'm going to get really far ahead. Here I'm going to actually... So I'm taking 8 here. I think that's worth it. I'm going to take 8 here. But I don't want to get destroyed by Leonin Arbiter. If my opponent plays an Arbiter post-combat and he Ghost Quarters me, I lose the game basically. So I'd rather, not kill this and take the extra damage just to be, make sure that I can play around Arbiter to the best of my ability. I don't think that I can really play around Arbiter anyway. I guess I can like crack on my own upkeep. That would actually be good for me. If my opponent like plays an Arbiter here and he doesn't crack the Ghost Quarter. So after I untap, I can actually crack the Explosives there, and I would actually be getting the Arbiter as well. If my opponent doesn't do anything, what is it? Another Splicer. Okay, it's starting to get annoying. That's actually a clock now. Now I'll load this up. So now I can get... That's not a bad draw, I just need a red source. So I can transmute this turn. I can transmute this turn. I think I'm gonna risk it. So I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna risk it. Next turn I can actually transmute for a Cavern of Souls, and so transmute for a Cavern of Souls and get a red source, like a Gemstone Mine, or I will probably get a Grove, and I will be able to fire spout my opponent's board. This of course is bad. Yes, exactly. If that happens, now my opponent can take edge my Semi-Growth Chamber, and that actually puts me behind. Wow, double tech edge. Getting both of my lands. Yeah, that's really rough. That's really rough. I already used both explosives. But okay, I can still draw. Okay, that's actually good for me. I'm gonna chump this dude. Let the other one go. It's fine. And now I actually have options. So I'm kind of hoping that I draw a Grove or a Gemstone Mine here. Ghost Squatter. I guess Ghost Squatter means another chump blocker, so that's good. So I don't die to a path. I'll take it. So that's another turn that I can gain here. Play this and pass the turn. I'm still really trying to find a red source here. That is probably the best thing that I can draw. Just wipe my opponent's board and, you know, start over. Dismember. Okay, so maybe they do have the double. This smells like they also have a path. If they also have a path, of course, that's game. I guess Flicker Wisp also does it. What else? Yeah, they have Flicker Wisp. Okay. So my opponent got me. That's good. Good for them. Good for them. They kept me off balance for long enough, and I didn't see lands for long enough that they just got me. Ballista, of course, looked great there. I think I want to keep the same configuration. Even Baloth would have been pretty good there. I'm gonna keep the same configuration and try again. Again, you know, when your opponent is destroying your lands so aggressively with tectonic edges, and even though, you know, Cavern of Souls is just a bad land, you know, it's just not a good land in this matchup. Even though that's the case, I still want to keep my land count high. So what happened this past game doesn't happen more often. But you know, sometimes it just happens anyway. But yeah, you just need to. Usually, the name of the game is try to resolve a threat. As you saw game one, you know, we resolved the Primeval Titan, and my opponent just conceded. They cannot really, you know, one primetime ghost get the next one and stuff. Still, I think that this matchup is actually super interesting. There's a lot of plays. There's a lot of play from both sides, especially post board. Like, you have to always be playing around your opponent, potentially being able to like flicker with your bounce land, which forces you to bounce another land, which can mess out. It can mess up your pacts. So here we have a ton of lands, but we don't have ramp, so I'm gonna mulligan. This hand is better. Keep this one. We have some pretty good interaction, and I don't think I want a Susa. We have some pretty good interaction, and we have like ways to get lands and stuff. So I'm trying to steerings for a bounce land here. Another option would be Grove. Grove would also be quite good. In this matchup, Amulet is not at its best because they can interact with your lands quite a bit, and they can do so at instant speed. So it's not the best. So here, for example, I'm going to choose to go with the bounce land over the Amulet. I really need to make my land drops. And I have interaction for explosives, and I have with your hand control the person who lands in you. It's kind of funny that I can blank this dude by just play the bounce land. So I'll do that. That's pretty hilarious. So what are they going to do now? Not play a land? This is actually pretty funny. The way this worked out. So I am going to 100% upgrade this guy right now. Do I want to explode this on one? I don't think I do. This is fine. I might need to explode this on 2 next turn. So I guess here he can like ghost quarter me, hold priority, activate Wayfarer, and go get another ghost quarter. That might be his play here, which is a little bit annoying. Yep, that's exactly what he was gonna do. Also, I guess Tectonic Edge. Okay. So we're kind of like back at parity, I guess, because my opponent destroyed my bounce land, but then they gave me a land, and they lost the land drop while doing so. And they are showing me that they have another ghost quarter. So here things get a little bit tricky. I think I want to kill this dude right now. I don't think I want to hold it up anymore. I think I want to kill him right now, not give him any more value, and just, you know, move on with my life. It's unfortunate that we didn't find like you know, another upgrade or some other thing that might actually you know, not be potentially a 2-for-1 down the road. But it's okay. Militia Bugler. This I do. Creature recover power 2 or less from among them and put it into your hand. Okay. We'll see what my opponent gets here. It's actually kind of a sweet card for that. Fire Action Revoker. Okay, you got it. That's a good draw. So I guess this turn I can like force my opponent to take edge my thing, but that gets him like a little bit behind. So I'm going to name Giant here. I could name Beast. I think I'm gonna have enough green sources. And now I play Azusa, and I'm gonna use my 2 land drops to play Cruel Turf and Gemstone. Now the Gemstone is reset, so I actually have this. So I assume my opponent is going to destroy my land here, and then I can play the Baloth in my turn to kind of like stabilize and potentially start attacking. It's gonna attack for 2, which is fine. This doesn't do much. So as you can see, like the difference between when my opponent has Bile and when they don't is huge. If my opponent had a Vial ticking up all of these turns, I would be so far behind. But here, my opponent is actually, you know, forced into the option, okay, do you want to interact with my lands, or do you want to actually play your stuff, you know? And he cannot be, he's not able to do both. Walking Ballista again. Okay, now you're gonna take it. Yep. Makes sense. And here, I think I just play Baloth and pass the turn. Guess I'm gonna leave Ghost Quarter as interaction. Not relevant interaction, but interaction. And let's see what they do. So they cannot really get through this Baloth. So probably their only way of killing it is through Path. Of course, blinking this guy, it's not the best proposition for my opponent. Another Revoker. Alright. If he wants to name Ghost Quarter, I'm really happy. I guess he's gonna name Explosives. My opponent saw both Explosives last game. Yep. Thalia. Okay. Give me a land. Any land. Yep, so this sometimes happens, you know, we're kind of like... We're just one land away. We were just like one land of putting the game away. If I happen to draw any land whatsoever, except maybe Tularia West would be kind of a pain. But any untapped land or any bounce land, we just Amulet Titan here and we just win the game. But now my opponent has the option of actually, you know, my opponent has like one extra turn that they can draw Alien Arbiter and kind of mess up this for us. Is a Canopy. And what now? Splicer. Okay, this is fine. Okay, so another turn. Another turn to draw any land in our deck. Another turn to draw any land in our deck. Note that I'm not Ghost Quartering him, because if I Ghost Quarter him, then we really need, we will be 1 mana short, like 1 mana behind, you know. Okay, here we go. Do I want blue sources or do I want red sources? I think I want red sources. Play Gruul Turf. Play Gemstone Mine. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So now if my opponent Ghost Quarters me, at least I go get a forest and I can still slam the prime time. But again, if my opponent happens to draw Arbiter exactly this turn, I might be in trouble. If they don't, then I'm fine. So as you can see, this is why Baloth is, you know, it's actually not bad at all in this kind of matchup. It's just, it just comes down, it's just bigger than every single thing that they have is just smaller than my Baloth. Actually, I just noticed that I would have to pay 1 for the Summoner's Pack because of the Thalia. So if my opponent wants to like Ghost Quarter me, that would actually be a great play. They have to Ghost Quarter me now, though. If they Ghost Quarter me on draw step or upkeep, I get to use that mana to actually pay for the Summoner's Pact, which otherwise I would not be able to. Yep, they didn't do it. I have the Amulet here, but Amulet costs 2, and this would send me too far behind, so I'm not going to go for that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yeah, so I have enough to Pact and cast it for Amulet Titan. So we're going to go do exactly that. And what I'm going to get is... I'm going to get Semi-Ghost Chamber plus Tularia West. Because I want to have another Titan waiting for it. in case my opponent actually has the path, which they might very well do. So here I guess they can kill my Tolera West if they want. If they don't, that's fine. I have more than enough green sources. I have 1, 2, 3, 4 green sources. There's no way they can deal with all of those in order to prevent me from paying for my pact. Also, Ghost Quarter kind of gives me another green source back. So I think we should be in an okay spot right from this point on. I am going to be looking out for Restoration Angel though. Restoration Angel can make things pretty annoying for me if it happens to like blink play Splicer with my, when I attack with Prime Time and they just double block with first striking golems. That can really mess me out, so I have to be extra careful with that. What is my opponent doing? Is they I think they're considering Ghost Squatter in the Tolera West, which I think they should do. I 100% believe that they should go. Yep, my opponent makes the correct decision. At this point, this practically guarantees that I will not die to my own pact, because they will just not have enough stuff to do, basically. But it slows me down, like, quite a bit, actually. So what do I want to do here? I do have the extra land drop for Azusa, so I can actually just bounce this and play it, I think. And I can just, like, I guess play an Amulet? I guess. Why not? Okay. Now I pass the turn. As you can see, we're kind of approaching this kind of like a control deck, We're slowly trying to, like, grind our way through. Slowly accruing advantage through Titan triggers, through stuff like that, and then eventually we're going to just kill my opponent. Okay, my opponent's trying to do the same thing. They're trying to go as wide as they possibly can, which is not a bad idea. And again, this will also give them, like we just talked about, this kind of prevents my Amulet Titan from attacking, because now they have 3 first striker dudes. So it kind of messes things up for me. I'm going to play like this. 1, 2, 3, 4. What I can do though, that's a good draw right there. That's actually quite a good draw. So I have Amulet now. So I can attack, and I can double strike my Primeval Titan. What that makes is that I basically trade my Prime Time for both of their golden tokens, making the battlefield quite a bit smaller, and I can go get Tolera West plus bounce land, bouncing the bounce land. So on my turn I think I want to do this just because I drew Hornet Queen this turn. I think doing this is actually quite quite good for me. So I'm going to trade for both of his golden tokens, which are first strikers. At this point, I'm like 100% convinced that my opponent does not have the path, which is of course great for me, because now why would they otherwise give me a free primetime trigger? So there's not really any use in playing around path at this point. I could also get Slayer Stronghold, but the way First Strike works, it just doesn't matter really. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna get another Tolera West, and I'm going to get, I guess I can get Boros Garrison, so I'm not forced to use the Gemstone Mine. But what I'm going to bounce is the Semi-Growth Chamber. This gives me the most options and will enable me to hardcast the Hornet Queen post combat, which should basically stabilize the game. I definitely want to trade for the golems though. Definitely want to do that. Yeah, they make the obvious block, which is fine. That's okay. Give my prime time double strike. I think I want to play like this. So those will trade. That's fine. Now the battlefield gets a little bit smaller. And now I have 1, okay, they draw a card. They just want to F6. That's 1. That's 2. And this is the third land drop. So I have 6. Okay. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So I have exactly enough mana to transmute this turn. Transmute. Go get another Summoner's Pact for next turn. And play Hornet. This basically stabilizes the board, makes it so he cannot, realistically race me. And starting next turn, I can actually start activating Sunhome on the tokens, or the Hornet Queen herself, so we can actually even attack freely through that Flicker Wisp. Arbiter is perfectly fine. It's too late for that now. Too late for that to matter. Too late for that to matter. If they want to path one of my things right now, I really do not care. I really do not care. Them pathing like my Baloth would make so that I cannot block Thalia, but that's pretty much it. And I still have 1 Tolaria West in my deck that I can go get. And I have to pay 1 for the Pact for Thalia, 2 for the Arbiter, and then I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 mana total. So that should be enough to, if I want to, I can actually go ahead and I can haste the prime time. Then I can replay my lands and be able to double strike him as well, which should basically put the game out of reach. My opponent is considering Dismember here. Okay, that's fine. Yep, so I guess my opponent is actually dead now. That Dismember could have possibly have gotten me, actually. My opponent should have held it. My opponent should have definitely held that Dismember. Yeah, so he's gonna attack with the irrelevant creatures now. So Bugler counts as irrelevant. I guess Raven Spectre counts as relevant, but that's like easily did. Like just like that would be chump attacking, I guess. So he's attacking for 2. Do I trade here? I think my Hornet is worth more than 2 damage, so I'll just let it go. Now I'm gonna be going nuts. Now I'm going to be going nuts. My opponent has no interaction for my mana. So it's just a matter of me tapping, making sure that I do not forget to tap for that guy, which happens. Actually, I can even go squatter my opponent and they get no value. I think I want to do that, because like them cheesing out like an extra win like out of nowhere with Shepherd Dunes. That's like a way that I lose. So 1, 2, 3 to cast the Pact and pay for Arbiter. Then I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 Plus bonus garrison. Yep, I can do everything I want. So, Ghost Quarter, get out of here, Shepherds. You don't go get a place. Now I pay for Arbiter. 1, 2. Now I pay 1 for Pact. Now I go get Primeval Titan. Now I cast Primeval Titan. Getting Bounceland plus Slayer's Stronghold. Yeah, my opponent just concedes. Alright, so that was a pretty sweet game. And that basically explains and demonstrates what I was explaining earlier. It's just if they don't win like they won game 2, which is they can like lock you out of the game early, and you know then you're just either behind on lands or you are behind or you just never draw a threat. Unless they do that, if we get to the mid to late game, they just cannot keep up with us, and we will eventually draw enough things to overpower them. It's actually important to note that in that particular game, I mean, because of that, what happened in that particular game is why I actually do like Obstinate Baloth in that matchup. Imagine if we had a pact with Thalias and all of those things, we were not really able at any point to reliably pact until we had like 7+ mana, and we knew for sure that we were going to resolve it prime time. So just having that Baloth just came down just as a dumb, stupid 4/4. It gained 4 life and it basically bricked walled my opponent, and my opponent could not get past it. They even had to end up using a Dismember in order to get rid of it. So that's why I like Baloth in that matchup in particular. Even though it's not like the most obvious addition. Okay. We're playing some long matches today. Starting to get tiring. So this hand has ramp, a lot of ramp, maybe too much ramp, but we're only looking for lands here. We're only looking for lands because we have everything else. There's a prime time. Oh, fuck me. Alright. So we're gonna probably lose game 1, because we always lose game 1 to this stupid fucking deck. The worst part is I think the deck is actually super sweet. That's what makes me even more sad. The fact that, the deck is actually kind of awesome and it just wrecks me. Well, if we survive this turn, we don't have a prime time, but we can actually transmute for Bog and have instant speed interaction against my opponent. Unless they, of course, draw an Explosives and they play Explosives on 1 and crack it, in which case we are screwed. But if that's not the case, then we can turn this Tolaria West into a what do you call it? Steerings. Yep, they found it. That is definitely bad for me. Maybe they don't hit a land drop, if I'm lucky enough. Okay, no land drop is great for us. No land drop is definitely great for us. So, play City Growth, bounce Forest. So the way... That's an amazing draw. That's amazing. So now we need to do math, actually. Okay, so... Land 1... So this is... Because I want to see if I can actually transmute right here as well. I don't think I need to, though. I have the garrison in hand already, so that allows me to basically go get Bog. So I can get Bog and Stronghold as my first 2 lands. And I can even play Azusa for free, so that's great. And then I can go get Simic Growth plus another Tolaria and transmute for Blue Pact, and that should be it. Okay, so Amulet first. So 1, 2. My opponent is completely tapped out, so they don't have interaction, so that's good. This, so 1, 2, 3. Land drop number 2. Bounce. Land drop number 3. That's a total of 6 mana. Cast Primeval Titan. Go get Slayer Stronghold. Slayer Stronghold plus Bojuka Bog. Bojuka Bog. So now we interact with them. This. Face Primeval Titan. Bounce Tolaria West. And on the attack trigger, going to get Simic Growth Chamber plus another Tolaria West. That was, by the way, hands down our best draw, in case you guys didn't notice. That was the best possible draw we could get. Just draw an Amulet that specific turn. Oh, so I can't... Yeah, careful with this. I do not want to do that. Bounce Bojuka Bog. I guess I should have bought... No, I should have bounced the Boros Garrison, probably. Considering the amount of land drops that I have. It's just more value. Of note that I don't think I would have been able to... I didn't have enough mana to actually go and 20 them. So I definitely had enough mana to 16 them, but 16 them, doing 16 with them seems way worse than this. And now we have a Pact, and we have a Primeval Titan that's gonna get a double strike next turn and kill them. And I'm gonna pack this because I don't want any trouble. My opponent knows that they're dead. Sweet! That's actually great. And of course, we only won that game because my opponent missed the land drop. They cycled a bit and they still missed the land drop, so that's basically the only reason why we won that game. Burikthar, Tormod Script, bye bye Ballista, bye bye Explosives, bye bye Explores. And the last card I think was one Primeval Titan. No, we were running one Dismember. That's what we were running. Dismember, and we sided out Cavern. I think it was Cavern or Callium card. Cavern. I'm keeping the Kalni over the Cavern because I really value being able to Nature's Claim them. and I don't think they play any counter magic post board. I'll go to the bathroom and I'll be right back. Alright, we're back. It's kind of really unfortunate that in like 9 matches, 3 out of our 9 matches are against KCI. What are the freaking chances? So we have interaction, we have ramp, we just need lands here. So I'm gonna keep this. Because steerings potentially can find us lands. So we just basically need to make it to 6 mana. If we make it to 6 mana, we're in good shape. If we don't, of course, we're not. Mox Opal, sure. Carplus and Forest. When I was a kid, these lands used to be rare. Like, they used to be expensive. I'm originally from Argentina, and it was super rare to see like these lands down there for whatever reason. Meaning these lands that ping you. I don't know what their name is. I'm going to lead on Tribe Scout here. And then next turn I'm going to play Amulet plus Cruel Turf. I guess Explosives on 1 is bad for us. Because Explosives on 1 is so bad for us, actually, it kind of makes me want to... it makes me want to not bounce the Cruel Turf and actually try to make the most amount of land drops possible. Hopefully these steerings finds another bounce land. That would be ideal. No further place is nice. Actually I can wait here. So I lead on Forest and I play Ancient Steerings. See what we find. We find Boros Garrison, that's pretty good. Okay, that's great. Any order. And so I can start next turn with 3 mana. Because of that, I'm not going to play the Amulet. I am going to play the Tormod script though. And I'm going to end of turn flash the Boros Garrison because that's the land that they know about. And then I will have 2 mana extra, and I can make up to 7 mana next turn. I guess my opponent is considering whether they Nature's Claim this. Yep. Considering they have nothing that matters about being exiled, I will let that resolve and gain for life. So now my opponent needs, it's imperative for them to have some kind of interaction here. If they don't have interaction for my amulet, I am going to go off and just kill them. Sacro, Chromatic Star, Explosives on 1. Yeah, but that's an Explosives on 1 that they cannot crack. That's an Explosives on 1 they cannot crack. So then I'm not going to care about it. Now the question here is though, and that's a good draw because that allows me to have some extra ramp, so that's good. So now the math is a little bit different. Okay, so this gives us +1 mana. So we're gonna use 1 mana for Amulet. Play that. Land drop number 1. Land drop number 1, it's going to cast the Azusa, so land drop number 1. So I have 2 extra land drops. And I have 1 mana floating, so I'm gonna have 1 mana +2 +2 +1, so that's 6 mana total. I can go get Pact. So I cannot Primetime and Rurik this turn. I cannot do both. I can only do one of them. Which one do I want to be doing? I think I would rather be Rurikin. Is that true though? No, that's not true. No, that is true, and the reason for that is because I cannot hold up both pacts. I cannot get enough land drops to where I can hold up both pacts. So that's the reason why I cannot do that. That's unlucky. So I guess I'm going to do this. Land drop number 1. Yes, Usa. Land drop number 2. And my opponent is most likely going to be killing my amulet, so I want to make sure that all my lands are in play. So that's 2, 3. Yeah, so that's fine. So I bounce this, play this one again. Now I bounce this. Rurik, and that should be pretty good. Next turn, even if they kill the scout and the amulet, I'm still fine because I can still pact for a prime time. I'm gonna take 6 for that. It's irrelevant. I'm gonna take 6 from the summoner's pact, and I'm going to go get Primeval Titan. And I'm probably not going to have an amulet anymore, so I'm going to just go get Bojuka Bog plus something else, I guess, to make sure that this Meal Retriever does not give my opponent value. I guess Bojuka Bog plus Semi-Growth is what I want to get. Because if amulet is blown up, then I can't haste the prime time next turn. If my opponent lets me haste the prime time by not blowing up the explosives, then I'm even happier because he's even better than dead. But yeah, my opponent can play 3 spells total. So they cannot really cantrip hard. They only have 3 cards in hand. And like every cantrip costs them 6 life. That part is fine, whatever. Let's see what they do. Right. So of note, I'm going to do this before combat, so if they actually decide to jump with the mere retriever, they do not get value. Amulet Titan. Yes. We're gonna have a Ojuku Bog plus, I don't even know, Tuleria West, I guess. Semi-growth chamber. I guess I'm going to play Tribe Scout on my second mage just because I can. So again with the dudes. Now they can only cast two spells, just the one spell. They can only cast one spell now. So that better be a damn good KCI right there. Scrap Troll. Okay, so that's a chump blocker, that's all it is. I think it's even a chump blocker that doesn't even get there. Yep, it's a chump blocker that doesn't even get there. And the reason why I say this is because I'm going to double strike my Primeval Titan here. Yes. Going to go fetch a bounce land. So that would be fetching a bounce land plus Sun Home. I would bounce the Sun Home with the bounce land trigger, and still in combat I would flash it in with the Sacred Drive Scout ability, and I would actually double strike my Primeval Titan, and that would be lethal. Okay, actually positive record against KCI. That's something that I did not expect to see. There is noise from your mic or something. Is there? Like when I'm not saying anything, or when I'm saying stuff, there's noise? When does the noise happen? It might be because I tend to do this thing, and sometimes I hit my mic when I'm scratching my beard for whatever reason. Like all the time. Ugh. Let's see if there's any kind of like. Is this? Is this? Oh, okay, I think I just figured out what I touched earlier. Is this better? Is this better now? Now it's perfect. Sweet. Awesome. Cool. We fixed it. I messed up and touched something that I shouldn't have touched. Okay. So my opponent is probably playing some amount of... my opponent is playing definitely BridgeVines and some amount of potentially bridges from below. Potentially some... there's Faithless Looting for sure. They might be playing the stupid card that I hate, Burning Inquiry, or they might not. Regardless, I think I want this. These kind of decks, the BridgeVine decks often have Blood Moon, so I am going to very reluctantly put this Nature Claim here. I hate bringing in Nature's Claim against this deck, but you know, I mean, if you guys don't know how bad Blood Moon is for us, yes, it's very bad. The land that we want to take out in this matchup is going to be Cavern, of course. We can take out one Pact and a couple of Explorers, and we should be pretty good. This is looking pretty good. I might want the Raid over the Dismember, just because I don't really want to be taking damage against the aggro deck. So let's try this. There we go. And I never updated the record. I'm so bad at updating records. We're actually 3-1. And we're down a game against aggro BridgeVine stuff. Sweet draw. I like this. I like this. I conceded on the previous match, by the way, because just having played the Gemstone Mine makes it feel like we might be on ad nauseam. And here I'm going to lead on Scout, because if they use their first turn to kill my Scout, that means that they are not taking out my Amulet. They are using it to Flame with Adept. That's an amazing draw. So yep, so we're going to Amulet. Then play a Cruel Turf. We're actually going to bounce the Gemstone. Play Steerings. That's a good one. I think I want to... Nah, I don't actually think I want this one. The thing is now we're... Nah, I want the land. I want to make sure that I can reliably... I think we're going to be like the aggro players in this match. So I want to be able to, you know, give myself the most outs. And I feel like the only way that we lose this game is if A, my opponent burning inquiries, or B, we don't find enough lands. Both of those are possible options. And now we're in a good spot. Now, if nothing changes, we will be casting a Amulet Titan next turn. And that should definitely seal the game, because I don't think I can die from 20 here. Looting is fine. In fact, the fact that they are looting makes it so it gives me more information, which is great for me. So they are digging for a land, they found it. Is my opponent a mono red? Kind of feels like my opponent's a mono red. Now this is the tough part though. Do I play around Blood Moon? Do I play around Blood Moon? I think I do. And I think the way that I do it is by playing Ghost Quarter here. That this is basically like a proxy for a forest. No, actually that doesn't work. No, I need to... yeah, no, that doesn't work. Never mind. So I will need to basically do this. So bounce this, play Gemstone Mine, add a 6 mana, cast the Summoner's Pact, go get Primeval Titan, cast Primeval Titan, which Primeval Titan's ability, yes, get Bojuka Bog, plus Slayer's Stronghold, haste Primeval Titan, and now beginning of combat, attack, and I'm going to go get 2 basic forests. And I'm going to do this because by getting 2 forests, the amulet makes it so I can actually cast the prime time on my second main. I can actually cast the Sacred Drive Scout, I mean, on my second main. And I feel like the only way I lose from here is exclusively to Blood Moon or some effect like that. So next turn I can pay for my pact, even through a moon. I can pay for my pact and I can you know, attack again, go get forest plus, you know, something else, and what that will do is that will make it so I can actually cast the Obstinate Baloth. No, I cannot cast Baloth next turn through the moon. I cannot cast it through a moon, but I can definitely cast it through... Yep, they just concede. Okay. So this is it for that 4-1 glory. Anything I want to change? I don't think so. Nature's Claim seems so bad. I'm going to keep it in because I still don't know about my opponent's deck, but it just feels so bad. Everything else seems alright though. Reclamation Sage also not looking the best. Please mulligan, so I can mulligan more confidently. No, they do not. I will mulligan though. This hand is unkeepable. This hand is better. Way better. And I will put the strings on top. So start with steerings, see what we get. We get a Radiant Fountain. I think I want the Gemstone Mine because I might need to Fire Spout sooner rather than later. And I'm going to play Tormod's Crypt this turn. If my opponent has any kind of like crazy, that's big card words, crazy BridgeVine turn, I want to, you know, be ready to stop whatever stupid thing they're going to do. I don't think I've seen any fetch lands from my opponent though, right? Is that correct? I don't think I've seen any fetch lands from them. That smells really bad, like a Blood Moon. Crap. I am very, very confident my opponent has a Blood Moon here. Still, I'm gonna do what I can. I cannot really do anything. But my opponent having such a slow start, it just puts all sorts of like alarm bells. Yep, there it is. I guess this can be a reclamation stage now. I'm still at 18 though, so I'm going to take my time. I'm going to play a Ghost Quarter here. I'm going to take my time, see what happens. I want my opponent to overextend a little bit more. Squid Immortal. What the fuck? Sure. My opponent's going deep. So I go down to 16 here. They cast Squee, I guess. They cast Hollow One. That's way worse for me. So what do I do now? I think I have to set up my turns wisely. So I'm not going to play around second Blood Moon because I don't think I can beat it. Okay? So this pact is going to go get a Reclamation Sage. Reclamation Sage is going to blow up the Blood Moon. Sage will also chomp the Hollow One. So I will probably take 1, 2, something like that from this Flameblade Adept. On this next turn, I'm going to pay for my pact on my upkeep, considering I don't die. And what happens after that? I pay for my pact on upkeep. And then my opponent attacks me for 4, 5, going down to max 10, and they play something else. I mean, it feels awful, but I don't think... that's the thing, I'm not sure yet whether I want to actually play this turf. Because if I draw an Azusa, that might actually be my out, and I actually want to have enough mana to transmute. So that's what I'm trying to figure out. If I want to like play Tolaria and use that mana to transmute on the following turn. So that's what I'm trying to figure out. I think I want the max amount of mana possible, so I'm going to do this. And actually this allows me to hold up Ghost Quarter. So Rex Sage. Even value, I don't have to take a counter from my Gemstone Mine. Sick. I guess I can Ghost Quarter myself to get a second green. Oh, but that I don't have enough mana if that happens, so never mind. Okay, so here's where we're at. Grudge the Amulet. That is fine. I don't get why they didn't grudge the Crypt first, forcing me to pop it. That does not seem like the optimal play. So I am going to chomp here. Because I'm expecting to Fire Spout soon anyway. Okay, so I guess that now we've come to a point where my best draw right here would be a Semi-Growth Chamber. So Semi-Growth Chamber? No, Azusa. You see, this is one of the reasons why I wanted to hold up the turf. Had I held up the turf, I think I could I could kill him then next. I could prime time them next turn. The way things are right now, that makes sense. I'm going to crack it, because why not? They might have like something like Hoodie Mandrills or something like that. So 4, 5, 6. This game is super tight. This game is super tight. Vexen Devil. I will not take 4, no. Flamewake Phoenix. So I take 8 this turn, and next turn I'll take 6. So my opponent needs something. Because I guess Bolt kills me, but I can't really play around Bolt. So I'm going to Fire Spout. With both colors. And I'm going to transmute. And my opponent can put me down to 1. But if I manage to resolve the Primeval Titan, I basically win. Summoner's Pact. My bad, no, I don't have an amulet anymore. So if I resolve the Prime Time, I cannot stop his stupid Flamewake Phoenix. So I just need them to not draw another Phoenix. Phoenix beats me. Well, I guess that Primetime can go get Radiant Fountain, and I can bounce it and replay it to gain 4 life total. This is super tight. I wonder if my opponent sided out their bolts, because if that's the case, then we have a pretty good chance. We don't have a chance anymore. Game is over. Nature's Claim. They drew their second fucking Blood Moon. They drew their second fucking Blood Moon. I'm gonna play this just in case we happen to do exactly Nature's Claim next turn. Yep. Why would my opponent not flashback the looting instead of doing that? That doesn't make much sense. So do I gain 2 life here? Carry turn basically gains 2 life. I think I do, right? And that also gives me like the potential out to a Braid. Because a Braid can kill the Hollow one, and then the Flamewake's Phoenix cannot come back. Still, I feel like my opponent should have flashback looting instead of just plain looting. So, a Braid and Nature's Claim are my 2 only outs. A Braid or Nature's Claim. Actually, I win. It's kind of funny that I actually win if I draw a Braid or Nature's Claim. No, not meant to be. Not meant to be. It's kind of hilarious. Like if I draw a Nature's Claim, I claim this, I play a Prime Time, I get Bojuke Bog plus Radiant Fountain, I stabilize completely, I blank their Hollow one with my Primeval Titan, and I basically just win from there. And I can even do that while holding up Ghost Quarters, so I can also play around a 3rd Blood Moon if my opponent is maniac enough to have that. I mean, gave it my best shot. I guess if we had... Nah, Rex Age wouldn't do it anyway. I gave it my best shot. It just was not enough. It was not meant to be. A braid would help me by killing the hollow one, and then it just buys me a couple of turns. But the one of Nature's Claim was my only out there. Yep. My opponent just had enough pressure, and they found both of their Blood Moons. Which was enough to kill me. Alright, give my opponent the GG's. I don't think they have figured out that I die on my upkeep. Anyway, that's a disappointing end. I think we had played that. I think we played that league very well. But yep, sometimes it just doesn't work out. So overall record with the deck so far is 35-10. It's funny that in today's streams we lost the same amount of games than in the past 5 streams put together. So that's kind of funny. So it was like the worst stream by a long shot. But anyway, it's nice to finish with a 3-2. Get some 3-2 love right there. There you go. And yep. So I think I'm already at this point. I'm sold on Tormod's Crypt. I think the card is worth it. I think the card is really good in the matchups you want it for. It doesn't have like Relic has some extra value, some like a little bit of value in other matchups, so it's a little bit more versatile against like low advert control, against Jaunt, against decks like that. You would never bring in Tormod's Crypt, but you would definitely bring in Relics, for example. But in the decks where you really want the Tormod's Crypt, namely KCI, Storm, which we also played against today, Dredge, against these kind of decks, just the Tormod's Crypt it's just better. It's just better. It really is, because we don't. It just like it feels like it's card disadvantage, but in a deck like ours, in a deck like Amulet, card advantage is not really what matters. What matters is that you are able to get to 6 mana. Because once you get to 6 mana, card advantage is not important, because like the amount of card advantage that we get is just too much. It just doesn't matter anymore. So I think at this point I am a believer. I think that Tormod's Crypt, if you want to have a sideboard slot dedicated to some amount of graveyard hate, I think Tormod's Crypt is the way to go. I don't think it's Relic. I don't think Relic, the list we played yesterday, Dario Layer's list, he is running 2 Relics in his sideboard, and I just don't see it. I just don't see it. I really like that he's running, the 3 Spell Pierces and whatever, but I just don't really see. I don't see that Relic is just worth a slot. What I would consider though is run a similar list to this and just run a single Baloth. So we would of course be worse in the mid-rangey matchups, but we would be able to bring in the 3rd Spell Pierce for the matchups where we really want it. I've been trying to find space to fit the 3rd Spell Pierce. So maybe this is something that might be worth testing. So now we have a full 3 Spell Pierces, but just the 1 Baloth. I actually think Baloth is really good in this deck, so I don't think I want to not run any. It just seems a little bit sketchy to not run any Baloths. considering that it's a card that in some matchups you actively packed for, like against Jund or against Burn, you actively packed for Baloth. So I think that I mean, it's definitely worth the slot. We saw it even earlier today when we played against Death and Taxes. Baloth was a monster there. We just drew a Baloth, we just played it, and it just brick walled my opponent's entire army. They had like 6 or 7 different creatures that they just could not get through. I was at 21, and then I gained like 3 or 4 turns where my opponent just could not attack because all of their attacks were bad. And that, of course, it got to a point where I just drew the lands that I needed, and I just won from there. So I think Baloth it's a really good card. And about the Gruul Turf over the Celestia Sanctuary, it really did not come up at all. I don't think it did come up. Maybe what I should do is I should do this. And I should have like a different art Gruul Turf, even though I hate this. What's up? Iván, ¿qué haces, papá? This. I can have like a different art one, and this one would be like the one. This is like the one that would be a Celestial Sanctuary, and kind of try that, see how that works out. Even though now my deck is not, my deck is not clean now. It's gross. Ugh. That border just does not do it for me. This one's so much better. This one is just doesn't do it. Just doesn't do it. Anyway, hope that, gentlemen, you have enjoyed the stream. Let me know if you have any questions, as usual. And hit that follow button if you enjoy the stream. I think I will probably be streaming a little bit tomorrow as well. I think tomorrow will be a legacy stream, because I want to be trying out some Maverick, straight green white Maverick. So I want to be trying that list. This list, top, it's just 5-0 league, and I've been kind of eager to try it because I've been digging Maverick since I started playing Legacy 3 months ago or so. I've really been enjoying Maverick, and since the banning of Deathrite Shaman, I did not find a list that I actually enjoy. That I actually like, and I like the way it's constructed and whatever. So this list 5-0'd, and I wanted to give it a shot. So I probably will be doing that tomorrow. If you guys wanna give it, check it out, I will, hit that follow button, and you will be notified. And if not, thanks for checking it out, and I will see you guys next time. Bye bye.